Hello, I'm glad you're here. I'm NatsMan, and I'm reading the Bible from the beginning to the end, from Genesis to Revelations. Please join me on this journey and make God's Word a part of your everyday life. This is video number 37. Today we're reading from the book of Leviticus, starting in chapter 10. But before we start, I want to do a short recap of what we read in the last video. In 7, 8, and 9, chapter 7, more rules for guilt and peace offerings. Peace offerings could be for thanksgiving, vows, or free will gifts. Sacred portions belong to the priests, but also must be eaten in a timely and clean manner. In Leviticus 8, Aaron and his sons are ordained as priests. Moses washes them, dresses them in priestly garments, and anoints them with oil, and offers sacrifices for their consecration. In Leviticus 9, Aaron begins his priestly service, offering sacrifices for himself and the people. God's glory appears, and fire comes from him to consume the offering, confirming his acceptance. And with that, we shall begin Leviticus chapter 10. Nadab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron, each took his censer and put fire in it, and laid incense on it, and offered strange fire before the Lord. But he had not commanded them. Fire came out from before the Lord, and devoured them, and they died before the Lord. Then Moses said to Aaron, "This is what the Lord spoke of, saying, I will show myself holy to those who come near me, and before all the people I will be glorified." Aaron held his peace. Moses called Mishael and Elzaphan, the sons of Uzziel, the uncle of Aaron, and said to them, "Draw near, carry your brothers from before the sanctuary out of camp." So they came near and carried them in their tunics out of the camp, as Moses had said. Moses said to Aaron and to Eleazar and to Ithamar his sons, "Don't let the hair of your heads go loose, and don't tear your clothes, so that you don't die, and so that he will not be angry with all the congregation, but let your brothers, the whole house of Israel, bewail the burning which the Lord has kindled. You shall not go out from the door of the tent of meeting, lest you die, for the anointing oil of the Lord is on you." They did according to the word of Moses. Then the Lord said to Aaron, "You and your sons are not to drink wine or strong drink whenever you go into the tent of meeting, or you will die. This shall be a statute forever throughout your generations. You are to make a distinction between the holy and the common, and between the unclean and the clean. You are to teach the children of Israel all the statutes which the Lord has spoken to them by Moses." Moses spoke to Aaron and to Eleazar and to Ithamar, his sons who were left, "Take the meal offering that remains of the offering of the Lord made by fire, and eat it without yeast beside the altar, for it is most holy. And you shall eat it in a holy place, because it is your portion and your son's portion of the offerings of the Lord made by fire, for so I am commanded. The waved breast and the heaved thigh you shall eat in a clean place, you and your sons and your daughters with you, for they are given as your portion and your son's portion out of the sacrifices of the peace offerings of the children of Israel. They shall bring the heaved thigh and the waved breast with offerings made by fire of the fat, to wave it for a wave offering before the Lord. It shall be yours and your sons with you as a portion forever, as the Lord has commanded." Moses diligently inquired about the goat of the sin offering, and behold, it was burnt. He was angry with Eleazar and with Ithamar, the sons of Aaron who were left, saying, "Why haven't you eaten the sin offering in the place of the sanctuary, which, since it is most holy, and he has given it to you to bear the iniquity of the congregation? to make atonement for them before the Lord. Behold, its blood was not brought into the inner part of the sanctuary. You certainly should have eaten it in the sanctuary as I commanded. Aaron spoke to Moses, Behold, today they have offered their sin offering and their burnt offering before the Lord. And such things as these have happened to me. I have eaten the sin offering today. Would it have been pleasing in the Lord's sight? When Moses heard that, it was pleasing in his sight. That was 10. Now Leviticus 11. The Lord spoke to Moses and to Aaron, saying to them, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, These are the living things which you may eat amongst all the animals that are on the earth. Whatever parts the hoof and is cloven-footed, and chews the cud amongst the animals, that you may eat. Nevertheless, these you shall not eat of those that chew the cud, or of those that part the hoof. The camel, because it chews the cud but doesn't have a parted hoof, is unclean to you. The hyrax, because it chews the cud but doesn't have a parted hoof, is unclean to you. The hare, because it chews the cud but doesn't have a parted hoof, is unclean to you. The pig, because it has a split hoof and is cloven-footed but doesn't chew the cud, it is unclean to you. You shall not eat their meat, you shall not touch their carcasses, they are unclean to you. You may eat of all these that are in the waters, whatever has fins and scales in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers, that you may eat. All that don't have fins and scales in the rivers and the seas, all that move in the waters, and all the living creatures that are in the waters, they are an abomination to you, and you shall detest them. You shall not eat of their meat, and you shall detest their carcasses. Whatever has no fins nor scales in the water is an abomination to you. You shall detest these amongst the birds. They shall not be eaten, because they are an abomination. The eagle, the vulture, the black vulture, the red kite, any kind of black kite, any kind of raven, the horned owl, the screech owl, the gull, any kind of hawk, the little owl, the cormorant, the great owl, the white owl, the desert owl, the osprey, the stork, any kind of heron, the hoopbee, and the bat. All flying insects that walk on all fours are an abomination to you. You may eat these of all winged creeping things that go on all fours, which may have long jointed legs for hopping on the earth. Even of these you may eat. Any kind of locust, any kind of katydid, any kind of cricket, any kind of grasshopper. But all winged creeping things which have 4 feet are an abomination to you. By these you will become unclean. Whatever touches their carcass shall be unclean until the evening. Whoever carries any part of their carcass shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the evening. Every animal which has a split hoof that isn't completely divided or doesn't chew the cud is unclean to you. Everyone who touches them shall be unclean. Whatever goes on its paws, amongst all animals that go on all fours, they are unclean to you. Whoever touches their carcasses shall be unclean until the evening. He who carries their carcass shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the evening. They are unclean to you. These are they which are unclean to you amongst the creeping things that creep on the earth: the weasel, the rat, any kind of lizard, great lizard, the gecko and the monitor lizard, the wall lizard, the skink and the chamalon. These are they which are unclean to you amongst all that creep. Whoever touches them when they are dead shall be unclean until the evening. Anything they fall on when they are dead shall be unclean, whether it is a vessel of wood or clothing or skin or sack, whatever vessel it is with which any work is done and must be put into water. it shall be unclean until the evening. Then it will be clean. Every earthen vessel into which any of them falls, and all that it is in it shall be unclean, you shall break it. Any food which may be eaten which is soaked in water shall be unclean. All drinks that may be drunk in any such vessels shall be unclean. Everything whereupon part of the carcass falls shall be unclean. Whether oven or range of pots, it shall be broken in pieces. They are unclean, and shall be unclean to you. Nevertheless, a spring or cistern in which water is gathered shall be clean, but that which touches their carcass shall be unclean. If part of their carcass falls on any sowing seed which is to be sown, it is clean. But if water is put on the seed, and part of their carcass falls on it, it is unclean to you. If any animal of which you may eat dies, he who touches its carcass shall be unclean until the evening. He who eats of its carcass shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the evening. He also who carries its carcass shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the evening. Every creeping thing that creeps on the earth is an abomination. It shall not be eaten. Whatever goes on its belly, and whatever goes on all fours, or whatever has many feet, even all creeping things that creep on the earth, them you shall not eat, for they are an abomination. You shall not make yourselves abominable with any creeping things that creep. You shall not make yourselves unclean with it, that you should be defiled by them. For I am the Lord your God. Sanctify yourselves therefore, and be holy, for I am holy. You shall not defile yourselves with any kind of creeping thing that moves on the earth. For I am the Lord who brought you up out of the land of Egypt to be your God. You shall therefore be holy, for I am holy. This is the law of the land, and of the bird, and of every living creature that moves in the waters, and of every creature that creeps on the earth, to make a distinction between the unclean and the clean, and between the living thing that may be eaten and the living thing that may not be eaten. That was Leviticus 11, and we'll now do 12. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, If a woman conceives and bears a male child, then she shall be unclean 7 days. As in the days of her monthly period, she shall be unclean. In the 8th day, the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised. She shall continue in the blood of purification 33 days. She shall not touch any holy thing, nor come into the sanctuary until the days of her purifying are complete. But if she bears a female child, then she shall be unclean 2 weeks, as in her period, and she shall continue in the purification, in the blood of purification, 66 days. When the days of her purification are complete for a son or a daughter, she shall bring to the priest at the door of the tent of meeting a year-old lamb for a burnt offering, and a young pigeon or a turtle dove for a sin offering. He shall offer it before the Lord and make atonement for her. Then she shall be cleansed from the fountain of her blood. This is the law for her who bears, whether a male or a female. If she cannot afford a lamb, then she shall take 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, the one for a burnt offering and the other for a sin offering. The priest shall make atonement for her, and she shall be clean. That ends Leviticus 12. That was the book of Leviticus, chapters 10, 11, and 12, on video number 37. I would like to thank you for joining me in this project, this endeavor to read the entire Bible. I hope you enjoy listening as much as I enjoy reading it. Please feel free to comment if you so desire. Also, please subscribe and give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I hope you come back for the next video, and until then, thank you. I hope you have a blessed day. I'm NatsMan, and I'm out.